Mm. Hustling in motherhood is wrecking your calling. So the question is, what does God really want for you instead? If you've ever felt stuck, overwhelmed, or like you lost a piece of yourself since becoming a mom, you are not alone. The world tells us to hustle harder, do more, and chase all the things, but that is not the life that Jesus is inviting you to. I want to introduce my guest today, Ashley Perry Lambett, and she is a Christian lifestyle strategist and the founder of the Prioritized Women Collective, a faith based movement helping high achieving moms live in alignment with God's divine order so they can thrive in motherhood, marriage, health, and purpose. As a wife and mom to two little kings, ages 2 and 4, Ashley knows firsthand what it feels like to lose yourself in the demands of motherhood while trying to juggle business, wellness, and faith. After walking through her own journey of postpartum depletion, identity loss, and burnout, she made it her mission to help other ambitious Christian moms rediscover who they are in Christ without compromising their values, health, or family. Ashley, thank you so much for being here with us.
I am so honored and so excited to be here with you and your amazing community. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. So you are right in line with what we're doing, right? We are running businesses, we are doing things, we are juggling the mom life and all the things. We're doing it grounded in Jesus, and that's really the only way to make this work, right? So it's not a foreign idea to most of us that this burnout, this hustle is like drowning us. So why do you think that that happens?
I think there's many reasons, so I'll touch on a few. So I think for one, being a high achieving woman and just being a go-getter, we want to be in control of everything. And so sometimes it's easy for us to like go ahead of God or think we're supposed to be doing more when God is saying actually slow down and do less in this season and just be present with your babies. I also think just as a woman who just wears so many different hats, right? It's like we just get overwhelmed and we think we cannot take a break because then everything is going to just implode and just be a hot mess. But God called us in this journey for a reason. He's put you here for a purpose and he's already equipped you. So this like striving and hustling culture that we see, it's just not for us. And that's not what Jesus intended for us as women in business and women who are raising families and the next disciples.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So I know that you coach women, you work with them. So what do you tell someone when they first get to you, right? And they are burnt out, they're struggling, they have this business, they have these little people that require them to keep them alive, and they're just not sure what to do and what is there something they can even let go of? Like what do you do with them when they first get there?
Yes. So, first and foremost, what we do is I encourage them to just sit with the Lord in silence. So, if that's 5 minutes before your kids wake up, if that's while you're breastfeeding your baby, whatever that looks like for you, and just to ask Him, where do you want me in this season? What is my focus in this season? And let Him just minister to your heart and see what He says. If you have a journal, write it down. But I think sitting in stillness and just allowing Him to speak is something that's so foreign, especially having littles and running a business and doing a million different things, you're like, oh, wait, sit in silence. I haven't done that in a while. Let's try that. And normally, the Lord, when you ask Him something, He's always going to come through. Maybe not in the way that you expected, but He's going to give you some sort of answer for us to start moving in a direction closer to Him and His will for your life in this season.
Yeah, I love that. That's very practical and so hard. Like it doesn't sound difficult. I just went on this retreat with my mastermind and we literally sat in silence for 2.5 hours. Like we just like wandered off by ourselves. And I was so excited about it because I used to spend so much time with the Lord, like by myself without like, people needing you. And but it was so beautiful. And so part of it was easy and then part of it got hard. I was like, what am I supposed to do now? But you're right. Like just being alone with Jesus will it'll just change everything, right? Like
Well,
that's so good. Silence and solitude. And I love that it's like not a cookie cutter thing. I ask you what to do and you're like, go to the Lord. That's
mm.
the answer, man. That's the answer. I like it. I like it. Okay, so how do you here they are. Okay. They have done this. They've gone to the Lord and they're like wondering what are some practical steps that they can take after they've sat in silence with the Lord?
Yes, so then we start getting more into alignment. Like, what are your priorities? And for a lot of women, our priorities are just all over the place. Like first and foremost, I go by a divine alignment. So it should be God first and foremost, and then it should be yourself. And a lot of us forget about ourselves completely, where it's just like the kids take over everything. And so how do we bring ourselves back to being a priority, whether that looks like going for a 5 minute walk, whether that looks like doing some stretches, whether that looks like telling your husband, I need some more help. Like, what does that look like for you in this season? Because the Lord did not call us to just be like suffering and in this survival mode. That's not what He called us to in motherhood. And then after you, it should be your hubby, right? So a lot of women, we forget completely about them when we have kids. It's like, oh, you're fine. I've got the kiddos over here. And so just bringing some spark back into that relationship, whether that's sitting and talking with your spouse for 5 minutes. How was your day? How
Mm.
are you? I miss you. I haven't seen you. And then we start talking about our kiddos, and then we start talking about our business, our ministry, and all the other hats that we wear. But like, let's get ourselves back into the priority list. What does that look like for you? Sitting having coffee, meeting a friend? Like, what does that look like for you? And then let's start making steps to do that, to start refilling your cup as a woman, as a mom, as a wife, as a business owner, all of those things. You have to pour into yourself in order to flow out into everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like what you said, the divine order. That's beautiful. That's perfect. And uh, you can say that a lot of things are important to you, but if you're not living them out, they are not actually important to you. That's what I talk to my clients about. It's like, are we giving these things lip service or are we really living them out, right? So
Yes.
let's talk about, so I like you're talking about making sure that you are, you're doing well, that you're being filled up, that you have that intentional time, whatever that looks like in the season, which changes depending on how old your kids are and how many kids you have or what season of life you're in with your husband. So, but I feel like guilt very quickly becomes a problem here, right? And so I know that you've ran into this. So, how do we make sure that we are doing the right things for us in the season we're in, but that we're not allowing guilt to like steal that joy that we should be getting from that?
Yes. So this is such a beautiful question because there's just like a lot of guilt, whether it's not spending enough time with the Lord, not going to church every Sunday like you used to before you had kids, not spending enough time with your husband, like not doing everything that you think perfectly for your kids. Like there's so many areas where guilt starts to like fall upon us. And I think for a lot of women, it's like, let's ask the Lord and let's see what his word says. And so we go back to, I like to explain it to women like, if you think of a river, like water has to flow into that river in order for that water to keep flowing. And that water flows into all of the plants, like the animals drink the water and all of these things, things that you never even see that ripple effect. It has to come being poured into. And so when they think about that, like, okay, oh yeah, that's right. Like you can't pour from an empty cup. So it doesn't have to look like you're going off for an hour in the gym or whatever. It doesn't have to look like that. It could be whatever feels good to your heart in this season. And of course, take it to the Lord. Like,
Mm.
do you feel like this is what I should be doing this? And sometimes the Lord will give you the answer you don't want. Like, no, I don't want you doing that in this season. I want you to just be still and be present and not start that new business, not start that new venture. And so just being in tune too, like taking what you think to the Lord. Is this in alignment for what you have in my life? And He will give you the answer. I even think about myself after I had my first son. It was like, all right, I'm ready to go 110% in my business and like do all these things and go talk and do and try. Like the Lord was like, if you don't just sit down in this season and be present with your baby because he's going to grow so fast, this time's going to go so fast, you're going to miss this time and you're going to regret not being present. So just taking it to the Lord again, letting Him speak into your heart and letting Him give you the truthful answer, not what you want to hear.
That's beautiful. I love that. And I like that what you're talking about. It's like God has given you this gift, but we're like so worried about all the other things that we could be doing. It's like,
Mhm.
nah, man, just this. This is what I gave you. Do the thing I said. I really like that. And I can totally relate to that because my son's 2.5 and I was ready to roll. Like I wanted to be with him. I didn't. I wanted to do the other things. And even now, sometimes I'm like, have to make myself like, no, this is not the time for those things. These are not the time for those things. So
Yes.
When you're talking about like this alignment and making sure that you and the Lord are on the same page, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I would imagine the next step would also be talking to your spouse, right? If he's not on the same page with you, then he can't know what you want, what you need, and he can't help you get there, right?
Exactly. Yes. Like a lot of men, like they just don't know what to do. They don't know how to help you. Like they see you like struggling and like they don't know what to do. And so if you can sit down and talk to them and even pray together and just explain to him what you're going through. I think about one of my clients where she was like, she got pregnant like immediately after having her first baby. And she was like, I had to go to him and be like, I love you. Like, thank you for these beautiful gifts, but like, I need you more. Like, I need more help. And he had no idea because she didn't voice that to him.
Hmm.
Like, they're not mind readers. Like, as much as we want them to be, they're not mind readers. And a lot of times, even I think about myself when I'm praying, like, Lord, fix him. Lord, do this. The Lord is like, turn that finger to yourself, sister. Like, you need some work as well. Like, you need to change how you're talking, how you're communicating. And so I think it's so beautiful when we can actually turn that point to ourselves and be like, how can I be better? Because then in turn, that's going to help him be better. That's going to help you be better as a unit. So I think just taking reflection too on yourself can be really helpful as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that psalm. It says like, "Search me, O God, and know my heart." It's like point out anything in me that offends you, and yeah, and
Hmm.
lead me along the path of righteousness. And so it's like, are we willing to pray that prayer? Right? It's so easy to be like, fix these other things, but it's like, show me what's ugly in me because I know there's some stuff in there, right? And so
Hmm.
it's very, I
Yeah.
love that, like self-reflection, making sure that you are also, where you need to be. Okay, so you have this growth method that you have talked about a little bit. So can you tell us a little bit what that looks like and what that means? Like, how does that help?
Yes. So the growth method is basically the steps that I take women through, and it includes your mind, body, heart, and soul. So we start with alignment, figuring that out, what that looks like for you in this season, and then start bringing in the physical aspect as well of your health, because it's one thing to be praying and all of the things, but faith without works is dead. So if you're in a season where you're like, I'm always tired, or I'm not feeling my body properly, I'm not eating well, like we have to take care of those things as well. And so we bring that in to this beautiful growth method where we not only talk about our relationship with the Lord, but we also start figuring out steps to help us be better women, mother, business owners, and all of those things. And so I like to bring in the physical aspect of movement. Like, and that is such a beautiful form of worship. Like, one of my favorite ways to worship the Lord is just to move, go on a walk with Him, literally. Like, we talked about silence earlier. Like, if you go on like a 5-10 minute walk inside, it's so hard at first because you want to put your ear pods in, you want to listen to a sermon or a YouTube video or a book, whatever, but he will just talk to you in such a beautiful way and give you encouragement that like you didn't even know you needed if you just allow him that space. And so I love to bring in all the aspects of the woman. So her physical, her emotional, her spiritual, all of that makes up who we are. And so it's really important to me to make sure that we start tapping into all of those areas to make us the strongest holistic woman as possible.
That's wonderful. I love it. That's perfect. So I really like what you were talking about when you're going on walks, not putting your headphones in. I have been purposely doing this and it is so helpful. It's basically blocking out the noise of the world. Because like
Hmm.
how much input are you allowing into your life? All of it can be really good, but if there's so much that you're never actually talking to Christ himself, like there's a problem. And so you got to give that space to the Lord to be able to talk to you.
Yes, so good. I saw a reel the other day where she was talking about that. She's like, we're so quick to go to a YouTube video or a sermon or this or that or whatever. And she was like, the first thing we should do is just go to the Lord. Like, ask him, what does he think about this situation? What should I do? Like, go to him first and foremost, not your friends, not your family. Go to him, drop it at his feet. And so I love that you said that. I can't agree more.
Amen. Awesome. Okay, so how do we break this burnout cycle? Because that is a thing that we suffer with, especially as being high achievers, wanting to do all the things, but like really wanting to trust the Lord in all of our ways, right? So how do we break that cycle?
I think one huge way is just to focus. Like in this season, What is most important to you in this season? And what do you want to accomplish most in this season? Do you feel the Lord is calling to you to do right now? Because we forget sometimes that this is a season where your kids are like so little and they need you for absolutely everything. We're like, it's gonna be like this forever. And the Lord is like, this is such a small, precious window. Like, please take advantage of it. Be present. And so I think focusing in, because as women we like to do so many different things, like we have so many ideas and all of these things, but it's like just focus in on one thing, like what's giving you joy, what's allowing you to serve in this season in a way that still fulfills you but doesn't take you away from your family, your husband, all of those things. I think focus is one way that we can really get out of burnout mode, because we don't have this I have to do everything and raise a baby. And if you're a new
Mm.
mom, it's like I don't even know what I'm doing anyway. So I'm already like overwhelmed to the 100th power. And so if we can just focus and remember that this is only a season, it's not forever, it's really helpful with I can still do this in 6 months to a year, 2 years. Like, ask the Lord, what do you want me to do in this season? Give me one or two things to focus on that are going to fulfill me, and then move forward in what He tells you to do.
That is perfect. Yeah, I love that. I heard someone say, you can do everything, you just can't do it at the same time. And I'm like, that's beautiful. That's perfect. And
Exactly.
giving yourself the grace to say, like, not right now, but it may be, I mean, it's not never, right? Like, your
Yes.
ideas are good. God made you the women that we're talking to, I feel like I can really, understand them.
Yes.
I have a million ideas, always something, everything's a good idea. And so, but like, just write it down, friend. Write it down. The Lord,
Yes.
it'll
Yes.
still be there and you can do it later. Maybe. And maybe you'll even hate that idea because there's a lot of ideas up here that I'm like, that was dumb. But that's okay. Um, but
And
yes,
delay doesn't mean no, it just means not
yes,
right now. And
absolutely.
He may have to prepare you. Like, I think about myself and where I started my business, like in health and wellness. The Lord has taken me on this like journey that I had no idea that it was in my future, but it's just refined me and made me better in every area of life so that I can be the leader that He's called me to be, the woman, the mom, the wife. And so let Him start to shred you, those lies that you've believed your entire life, those things of the world that you're idolizing. Like, it's a hard process, but you're going to be so much better on the other side of it. Just letting Him, just surrendering everything to Him and letting Him make you new. It's life changing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I love that. That's perfect. So, it looks like you have three faith-fueled mindset shifts to overcome struggles. Can you break those down for us?
Yes. So number one is going to be what we talked about earlier, is prayer, sitting in silence with the Lord. First and foremost, before you reach for your phone in the morning, what I like to do is I like to just open my eyes and say, Lord, I'm asking you to come into every part of my day, my actions, my words, my thoughts, my work, everything. And then also I like to ask, what do you want me to focus on today? Like, what do you want my focus to be for today? Sometimes He'll give me a word. He'll give me a scripture. He'll tell me something and I'll be like, "Ooh, yeah, I probably do need to work on that." But I think just first and foremost, like prayer and stillness. And then number two, what we also talked about is similar, is that focus, right? And that being present in the moment and just being thankful and showing gratitude for where you are in this season. That will change everything. If you can just sit down and write three things that you're thankful for at the end of the day, you will be like, I am so blessed. Even if you don't feel like it, you're like, I'm so blessed and I'm so thankful for what the Lord has done and continues to do in my life in this season. And then I think number three, just being a high achiever, is to really just prioritize yourself. Like, don't get into this place where you are totally neglecting every single need that you have, because it's only going to make everything else harder, because you're coming from a place of complete destitute. Like, you have nothing to give because you're giving to everyone else. So making sure that you're getting yourself on that priority list, whatever that looks like in your season, whether that's asking for more help from family and friends, your husband, taking a nap, grabbing some coffee with a friend, like still prioritizing you, because the Lord still wants to do amazing things for you in this season, even if it feels very difficult.
That's beautiful. That's wonderful. Okay, so tell everybody about the quiz that you're offering.
Yeah, so it's an overflow quiz. So it's really to help women see where they are struggling with the most and where the Lord wants to speak into your life the most in this season. And once you take this quiz, it's going to give you tools and resources to help you start connecting more with the Lord in the area that He's chosen, whether it's your physical, your mental, your emotional, your spiritual, your motherhood, your relationship with your husband. Like it will give you tools to start reconnecting and restoring that area of your life. And it's a short, quick quiz, but the resources are so good and they're so helpful if you feel like you are drowning, like this quiz is for you. He wants to restore you.
That's amazing. All right, awesome. And so that will be linked in the description of this. So definitely check that out. And then if you had one last piece of advice for the Christian mompreneur who's just sitting here listening right now, what would you tell her?
I would tell her that you are beautifully and wonderfully made. And even in this season of motherhood, if you don't feel that way or you feel like you've lost yourself in this season, like go to Him. Surrender it all to His feet. He will restore you, He will replenish you, He will show you your purpose in this new season. If it's changed, He will show you your giftings, He will show you exactly what He wants you to do in this season if you allow Him to.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Ashley. This was great.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so honored to have been here with you.